Well, thank you so much for having me, Mike. Thanks again for inviting me to this event. I had a great time last time I was here. And what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about VMware's vision and strategy, kind of where we're going and kind of where we see the industry going more broadly, and the key investments we're making to support that. But before I do that, just a quick context on VMware. We've been going through our own evolution and transformation as a company. We started, our first phase was really as a server virtualization company. Then we became a software-defined company, and that's a lot of what we still do today. But we're now entering into the third phase of the company, which is to become a multi-cloud company. And that's a big change for us, a big change because we recognize the changes our customers are going through. And I bet, 18 to 24 months ago, if you looked at this, there's a lot of skepticism in the market about our ability to go do that. But I would say, based on the things we've delivered, things we've announced, the things we're doing now, customers have kind of really bought in and find what we're doing compelling, and the market does as well. So we're pretty excited that we feel like we've really hit on something unique in the marketplace that really can help the industry kind of deal with some of the key challenges around the proliferation of these different types of environments that our customers have to manage. So let me start by talking about our vision, and this slide definitely does the best job of laying that out. And there's really three key ideas here. The first is this idea of any cloud, second of any application, and the third is any device. And so what I mean by any cloud is if you look, and we heard a lot about this morning, we heard about these idea of hybrid clouds around customers who continue to have both on-premises investments, but they're going to start putting a lot of, and have already put a lot of their applications into the public cloud. The reality is that they have to manage across both of those. And the reality is that their on-premise data centers need to become more cloud-like, right, and become more agile. And the things they have to do inside the public cloud have to mature, and they have to bring more maturity to how they manage those applications as those applications evolve from being primarily development-oriented to now becoming production applications. And so actually we see these things become closer and closer together, and that calls for a lot around consistent operations and consistent infrastructure across them. Second, on any application, what I mean there is really a lot of what drove a lot of public cloud adoption was the change in the way people build applications today. There's a big shift from the traditional application monolithic architectures to these microservices, container-based. There's a real fundamental change with PaaS frameworks. So a lot of things, really kind of a polyglot environment that most enterprises and broader organizations have to think about and have to be able to build expertise around. So that means they need to support both traditional applications, these new cloud-native style applications, even support SaaS applications that they have to manage externally. And they want to do this all again in a consistent way with consistent operations and across a common platform. And then they want to be able to deliver those applications internally and externally, and internally to their employees. They want to make sure that those can be accessed across any device, whether that be their iPhone, their Android device, their laptop, it doesn't matter. Applications and data need to be separate from the device themselves. So this represents our vision. I want to really focus on the bottom layer here and really talk a little bit about this any cloud in a little bit more detail and talk about how our strategy to help bring this vision to reality is progressing. So really four key things that we're focused on to go and realize that vision. The first is to make the private cloud easy. We heard a lot about the approaches today around solutions. I'm going to talk a bit more about that. The second is we've been developing deep partnerships with the major cloud providers, which I'll talk about. Third is then also we have a very broad ecosystem of cloud provider partners who build cloud infrastructure, build hosting infrastructure, and do that around the world, provide choice for customers. And the fourth, the newest thing that we're doing is then building a set of cloud services, a portfolio of cloud services that bring that consistent operational capability across all those different environments. So I'm going to very briefly touch upon each one of these, starting with make private cloud easy. And I'm going to start with an analogy to how kind of the PC industry started many, many years ago, where it really was sort of homebrew. People built their own, in their garage, putting pieces together. And we heard a lot already, on the other sessions this morning about the fact that customers are switching to want to buy systems, to buy solutions. And obviously that's the same thing that happens today, right? Today I don't need to build my own laptop. I just buy my laptop. And that's the same thing, transition that we see happening inside data centers. Customers, if you go inside a data center, it looks a little bit like the left-hand side of this slide, where most organizations, they have a bunch of plumbers, who have bought piece parts and figured out how to put those piece parts into a unique infrastructure and a unique kind of architecture that's a snowflake and very different than other environments. It means they spend and invest a lot of time and energy in just building that infrastructure. And we see a huge opportunity to go change that and make it much simpler and allow organizations, IT departments to start focusing on what they want to focus on, which is building and running the applications that run on top of that infrastructure. So that's the big shift. Everyone so far this morning has sort of talked about that. And what we're doing around that is delivering a set of software to go make that easy. And that software is something that we call Cloud Foundation. What Cloud Foundation does is it really takes a lot of the key software-defined technologies that we've built over the last few years and have seen great adoption in the marketplace, like VMware vSAN, software-based storage. I talked a bit about that earlier this morning. Network virtualization with NSX, and of course our virtualization platform with vSphere. And wrapping that around with a set of capabilities to automate that fully from the deployment through the lifecycle management, and really taking all the kind of day 0, day 1, and day 2 operations that customers traditionally have to deal with and traditionally have to do manually, and kind of wrap those all in software and make it easy. And so now customers can really focus more on buying a system rather than buying all the piece parts and architecting and building it together. So this is an area, for example, where we've partnered very closely with QCT, and this has been a great partnership for us as we've been able to bring the software and they've been able to bring the hardware. And over the last couple of years, we've been working together to go deliver this as a complete hardware plus software solution to our joint customers and into the marketplace. And so we see this as a really unique opportunity, and also a unique opportunity to extend that same infrastructure that we can sell into an organization for their private cloud and help our partners who are building public cloud services use that same infrastructure. And that provides a great advantage for the end user, again, where now they can have consistent infrastructure managed in a consistent way across both the public and the private cloud. So really realizing that vision of delivering a consistent experience across the hybrid cloud. So we're seeing great adoption of Cloud Foundation. It's been in the marketplace for about a year. It exceeded all of our expectations around early customer adoption. But it is still early, and we see a huge opportunity for us over the next couple of years to help people simplify how they operate their businesses. Second, I mentioned major partnerships with the major cloud providers. We made a big announcement a year ago, which we then followed up this year with a delivery of a service in conjunction with Amazon. And that is a service called VMware Cloud on AWS. It's a VMware delivered service leveraging Amazon's infrastructure. And again, it's a way for us to go help companies who are looking at how do they go take all their investments that they've made in people and operations and technology and make it easy to go transfer those into public cloud infrastructure and again, manage those in consistent ways. So seeing tremendous interest in this, highly oversubscribed in our early betas. And so the interest in this solution is very exciting. Well, that's really one piece of how we see the kind of cloud options for customers evolving. Clearly that's a very exciting offering in itself. We also have similar offerings that we've built with partners like IBM, for IBM Cloud, broader set of VMware Cloud providers that also offer infrastructure. And this is a great way for us to go offer, again, consistent infrastructure. At the same time, we also recognize that customers are leveraging and will leverage kind of native public cloud environments for building some of those cloud native applications and other type of requirements. So we are building a set of capabilities to make it simple and easy to have consistent operations across all cloud environments. And so, for example, we've done some unique things already. For example, we announced work with Google and with Pivotal around Pivotal container services, provide a consistent way to deliver Kubernetes and container-based infrastructure across public and private infrastructure. So a lot of exciting things happening and a lot of change happening, and we feel that we can uniquely help provide customers a way to operate that in consistent ways. And so then you can think about customers now that have all this choice about where to run their infrastructure, where to run their operations. And many organizations, of course, are going to be multinational. They're going to have operations around the world. They're going to have to think about things like compliance, around things like where is my data sitting, data sovereignty. GDPR is a big thing in Europe. People think about, how do I make sure my data is meeting regulatory requirements? And so we do see that customers are continue to need to have very heterogeneous type cloud infrastructure. They're going to have local providers in different areas. They can meet specific needs, have local providers for specific application or service requirements. And so again, the question is, how do we go manage that in consistent ways? So that's where VMware has now delivered and is starting to deliver, and there's many, many more that we're working on in the near future, a set of cloud services that work across all of these different cloud environments. And again, provide the operators, the IT organizations, the teams that have to worry about how do you make sure the applications are running well, that have to worry about compliance and security, and give them a set of tools and technologies to go do that across all these different environments. And you can see today they cut across things like managing the economics around cost, managing security and networking around NSX or app defense. And so we're really focused on balancing the needs of, hey, the developer wants to use local native services to build new and unique applications. That's great. But we need to make sure that the IT organizations have the tools and technologies to go ensure that what the developers are doing is within a framework that is controlled, is compliant, is secure, etc. So we're pretty excited about the opportunity that we see here. And as we're looking forward, our strategy is really continues to be about delivering this consistent infrastructure across multiple clouds, delivering consistent operations across any cloud, and really doing this across a very, very broad ecosystem of thousands of cloud providers around the globe, and really helping organizations be highly agile, allow the developers to be highly agile, while making sure that we maintain and reduce and minimize complexity and risk for those infrastructures. I want to just call out one last thing before I close, which is we really appreciate, again, the great partnership that we've had with Q.Synergy as we've been continuing down this journey as an organization. Little graphic, a little squeeze there. We've had a long partnership over the last few years as we've been working on technologies. One of the ones we're, again, most excited about is VMware Cloud Foundation. And we've partnered with Q.Synergy from the very start as one of our core hardware partners. And they have their solution called QX Stack, which is a great integrated hardware plus software solution that we bring into the marketplace. And we have a session today, if you're interested, to hear more about that this afternoon. So we think that's a very unique and powerful solution for the marketplace. Again, appreciate it. Hope you have a better understanding of how VMware is evolving and how our strategy fits into kind of the future of our customers' vision for their data centers. Thank you.